Assalamu alaikum everyone. So this is our first lecture for economics standard 12th. Let us begin with chapter first today. Chapter first is introduction to microeconomics and macroeconomics. These terms are not very new to you. You people are familiar with the terms microeconomics and macroeconomics as you have studied them in standard 11th. Now we'll study these two terms in detail in standard 12 as well. Your entire 12 standard syllabus have been divided into microeconomics and macroeconomics. So we are going to study each part in depth and in detail. Microeconomics and macroeconomics are the two main branches of modern economics. The term micro is derived from the Greek word mikros, which means small or a millionth part. The term macro is derived from the Greek word makros, which means large. These terms were coined by Professor Ragnar Frisch in the year 1933. We'll begin with microeconomics today. Microeconomics is micro means a small part of a thing. Microeconomics thus deals with small part of the national economy. It studies the economic actions and behavior of individual units such as an individual consumer, individual producer, a firm, prices of a particular commodity or factor. For example, when we study the growth of Reliance industry, we are studying microeconomics. Or when we are studying what are the sales of a particular seller A, we are studying microeconomics. There are different definitions given by different economists. One of the definitions is given by Morris Dobb. Morris Dobb explains microeconomics as microeconomics is in fact a microscopic study of the economy. What do you mean by that? It means just as the microscopes helps us to study the millions of cells in the body of a human being, microeconomics helps us to study the small little units of the economy in detail, minutely in detail. Scope of microeconomics. Scope of microeconomics means what are all the things covered under microeconomics. What are the things microeconomics deals with? The first one is theory of product pricing. Microeconomics is often called as theory of product pricing because it deals with determining the market forces of demand and supply. It helps us to know what will be the price of particular product based on what is the demand of the product and what is the supply for the product. It is at a point where seller and the buyer meets, we come up with the price. So all this analysis is done in microeconomics and therefore it is called as theory of product pricing. It is also called as theory of factor pricing. As you all know, there are 4 factors of production: land, labor, capital and entrepreneur. Microeconomics not only studies this factor of production, it also studies what all should be paid to these factors of production. For example, what should be the rent for a particular piece of land? What should be the wage rate for a labor? What interest rate should be provided on the capital? Or what should be the profit percentage of a particular industry or particular entrepreneur? All this is studied in microeconomics. Theory of economic welfare. Theory of economic welfare. Microeconomics helps us to study efficiency in production. What do you mean by efficiency in production? That means proper allocation of resources. Right product should be made available at the right time, at the right place, to the right person at the right price. When all the resources which are available are used optimally and optimization is achieved, there will be efficiency in production. Similarly, efficiency in consumption means the products which are produced by the producer should be made available to the consumer at the right price at the right time. When the human wants are satisfied completely, then only efficiency in consumption is achieved. And once efficiency in production and efficiency in consumption is achieved, there will be overall economic efficiency. That means the production of those goods which are most desired by the people are produced in the economy, and as a result of these 3 points, efficiency in production, efficiency in consumption, and overall economic efficiency, the economy will progress, the nation will progress. Now, the features of microeconomics. There are different features or characteristics of microeconomics. The first one is study of individual units. As the definition itself suggests, microeconomics is the study of individual unit. It studies individual units like individual firm, individual price, individual demand, individual supply. It does not take into consideration the aggregates, the large parts of the economy. It studies the small parts of the economy. The next feature is price theory. Because microeconomics deals with determination of prices of goods and services and also a factor of production, it is often called as price theory. Partial equilibrium. Now, equilibrium means to have a balance. Microeconomics analysis deals with partial equilibrium. That means it studies individual consumer, individual firm separately. It isolates an individual unit from other forces and studies its equilibrium independently. For example, demand and supply balance. When you are studying a balance between demand and supply, you will not study other factors like government policy, because then it will not be independence, it will be interdependence. So when you study each unit independently, then you are using partial equilibrium method. Next feature is based on certain assumptions. Microeconomics is based on certain assumptions. So when there are laws formed by different economists, for example, like Alfred Marshall has given various laws of economics like law of demand, law of diminishing marginal utility. All these laws are based on certain assumptions. He has taken into consideration assumptions like other things being constant or no government intervention. That means when he is studying what is the demand for a particular product, he will consider or he'll assume that the income for the consumer is constant or the government policy is constant. When these assumptions are taken into consideration, only then the law will hold true. Another feature of microeconomics is slicing method. Slicing means to divide. So microeconomics splits or divides the entire economy into small units and then studies each unit separately in detail. For example, study of individual income out of national income or study of individual demand out of aggregate demand. So when I am studying what is the demand for a particular product, individual demand, then we are studying microeconomics, right? And when we are studying what is the demand by a nation, we are studying aggregate demand, which is not part of microeconomics. Microeconomics deals with individual demand and not with aggregate demand. Use of marginalism principle. Economics is based on this principle of marginalism. What do you mean by marginalism? The word marginalism is derived from the word marginal. Now, marginal means the change brought in by an additional unit. What will be the cost of producing one additional unit? Or what will be the profit from sale of one additional unit? Is called as marginal cost or marginal profit respectively. For example, profit for sale from sale of 10 mangoes is rupees 500. Profit from sale of 11 mangoes is 510. So there is sale of one extra mango here, and because of the sale of one extra mango, the extra profit is rupees 10. So this rupees 10 is your marginal profit. What is the change brought in by one additional unit? This is marginalism principle, and it is often used in microeconomics. Another feature is analysis of market structure. The economy or the market is divided into different structures such as perfect competition, monopoly. Monopoly means single seller. There is no competition. Then there is oligopoly, where you have only few sellers. So all these are different forms of market, and these markets are studied in detail in microeconomics. So it is one of the features of microeconomics. Limited scope. Microeconomics have a very limited scope. Its scope is limited to only individual units. It does not deal with nationwide economic problems such as inflation, economic growth, balance of payment, poverty, deflation, population. It considers only individual units and ignores the aggregate problems. All these are the features of microeconomics. The next topic is importance of microeconomics. Now we have seen what are the things covered in microeconomics. We have seen what are the features of microeconomics. So now we'll study what is the importance. Why is it important to know what is microeconomics? First is price determination. Because it is called as price theory or product theory also, it clearly mentions in microeconomics we study what will be the prices of different goods and services, and in today's scenario it is of much importance to know how the prices are determined and whether the products are available at the right price or not. So it helps both the consumer as well as the seller in determining the price, and therefore it holds importance in the economy at large. Free market economy. Microeconomics helps in understanding the working of a free market economy. A free market economy is that where the economic decisions regarding what to produce, how much to produce, how to produce are taken at individual levels. That means individual producer or the consumer determines all these questions and not the government. So because India is also a free market economy, the study of microeconomics holds importance. Another importance of microeconomics is foreign trade. Microeconomics helps in explaining the various aspects of foreign trade. For example, determination of currency rate, what will be the gain from international trade or from a particular country. All this is studied in microeconomics. So microeconomics helps in studying the foreign trade as well. Economic model building. There are different economic models which economy follows, and microeconomics helps in building this economic models. It helps or it make available valuable contribution by developing various terms, concepts, terminologies, economic analysis, etc. For example, the law given by Alfred Marshall, law of demand, helps in framing various government policies as well. So the laws which are there in microeconomics helps in building the overall economic model for the nation. Business decisions. Microeconomic theories are helpful to businessmen for taking crucial business decisions. It is also helpful for consumers as well to know what is the right price for the product and whether that product is beneficial for the consumer or not. All this helps both the producer and the consumer in decision making. Useful to the government. It is useful to the government in framing economic policies. It is helpful while forming policies like taxation policy, price policy, what should be the public expenditure. This policies helps the government to attain the overall objective of economic welfare for the society. Basis of welfare economics. Microeconomics explains what should be the proper allocation or utilization of resources, and therefore it helps in maintaining a social welfare because both the producers and consumers are benefited from the concepts of microeconomics. It is a basis of welfare economics. All these are the importance of microeconomics. With this we have completed the microeconomics part of this chapter. Next part will be dealt with in the next lecture. Thank you.